Hello, students in Action Research Implementation CI591 in summer 2015. I'm creating this screencast to show you some of the resources. I think a number of you have already discovered these resources, but I wanted to make them more clear because there were some questions coming up exactly what's on the wiki, what's on the syllabus, and what's in D2L. I recognize that it's probably confusing going through all three of those platforms at this point. I created the Action Research Action Wiki because there were a number of students over the years who have asked for examples of student papers. And then I thought, well, I'm just going to store materials in there so that students have access to them even after they complete the course or also during the course. And I just thought the wiki was the best place to do it. The wiki, as you may recall, when you use the wiki in 590 to put in your group projects on research methods, it's almost like a filing cabinet. It's really an internet filing cabinet in which I store, and you have stored actually, different pages about different methods. So as I open this, this is my home page on the wiki, and you can see I have many wikis because I have found them extremely useful. Your wiki is called Action Research Action. Laura Dowdy and Joseph Traeger asked to be new members. I just went onto the wiki and I accepted them. The wiki told me that they had not validated their email, so they may not be notified that they have been accepted to the wiki, but I hope they figure it out so that they can use this really good resource that many students have found. So now I'm going to go to this, which should be the same kind of wiki that appears on your desktop, and click it. And it opens, and here we have the Action Research Action Wiki. And you'll see up here on the side is probably where you're going to want to be thinking about what you're doing, and it has like a history, like a file cabinet, as I said, of all the groups who have contributed to these various methods over the years. 2011, 2010, summer 2011, winter 12, and those were all student groups like yours who created wiki pages with documentation and information and videos about various methods that you could use in doing and completing this step in particular, in designing your project in CI590 and then in completing it in CI591. So those are really tremendous resources, and students have found them very helpful. And since the students themselves designed these pages, a lot of them are friendly to you. They use a lot of the social media, the media that you're aware of and can use. They use YouTube videos. And so these like, let's say, case study spring 15, these folks have talked about what is a case study. These are the students, Andrea, Desiree, and Eileen, and they defined it just like you did. They actually have a little table of contents on the side. And so as you're completing your study, you might want to review this just to see if you have used a case study, what you can learn more about using a case study. And maybe there's some examples. Here's an article that uses a case study. And this is basically your challenge to read through, and some people say it's a lot of reading, but the people that have used similar research methods that you have, and figure out how do other people talk about it? How do other people provide rationales that's important? This is about Draw a Scientist. Some of you have done Draw a Reader, Draw a Writer, Draw a Substitute Teacher. You've used this methodology in a lot of different ways, and you're going to have to skim these. They're basically set up the same way, all of them. What is it? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? How do you use it? And then how do you use it as a research method? And that's how do you use it as, and then the students have given you articles and handouts on that. So I hope you understand that that's a really tremendous resource. This section here under methods, we have gleaned several of the articles from down below and put them here in this list. So some of the better articles are here. But I wouldn't focus, I mean, I would look here if I'm doing a Likert scale, but I would also look down below and kind of scan and see what's important to you. This top section is called, well, this is basically kind of the nuts and bolts of putting together your paper. And you can read through it. There's frequent mistakes for APA, which I've put in here. There's writing the literature, writing your methods. Within each of those, there's of course the research question matrix. How do you do that? Examples of that. How do you make a good calendar? There's I've tried to put in as many examples as I can, or I have found good examples from students' work and put them into the wikis so that you at least see some ways of presenting the information. Some of it's going to require you to do some digging, like this one is called the paper, and this one has an overview of all the 5 steps, like the problem statement. And if you want some examples, you open that up and there's some sample papers in here that other people have done. How to write an abstract. This is more examples of student work on the problem statement. So you're going to have to dig a little bit. It's not as well organized as it might be, but I think there's, most students find that it's just one of the things they were craving for about 6 or 7 years ago was examples. And so I thought, well, okay, here you go. I'm going to make this wiki and provide you with examples so that you can see how other students have put together their papers. One of the things to remember, however, is that, when one student asked me this term, they said, well, should I put in all the surveys that my students did? I have 26 surveys, and shouldn't I put those in? Well, no, you don't do that. Your job in writing the final paper and bringing all of the literature together, your job is to summarize that data. You are not, I don't want to read all those individual surveys. In fact, that's what researchers do. They do not present all the individual surveys. They trust you to gather the data in such a way that you have summarized and found the patterns across the data. Quantitative data is easier. Qualitative data is a little harder, as you know. So what I've created for you are these data analysis modules. And one student asked me, well, do I have to use all the modules? I didn't collect Likert scales, or I didn't use concept maps, or I didn't use Draw a Scientist. Well, that's okay. You write about the data that you did collect from your original project and summarize it and look for the patterns, look for the things that are consistent, look for the things that you can learn about what you've collected that will help inform your practice and help you become a better teacher. That's the basic job, is to look at these and summarize and figure out what you can glean from the data to help you become a better teacher, but also what you can summarize from the data, where you can see the patterns. So that's really what the wiki is for, and I hope that helps you. These are the modules from 1 to 10. 1 is Likert scales, 2 is Likert scales, 3 is short answer, 4 is narrative, 5 is concept map, 6 is Draw a Scientist. 7 and 8, or 8 and 9, are really good good ones about how to organize your results and also how to organize your discussion. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. So as you're reading some of these papers, you might want to see, how do people do that? Their organization. Do they organize it by the different groups of people that they gather data from, or do they organize it by the different methods they used, they collected, survey, Draw a Scientist, or interview? So that's a decision you make as a researcher, because what you want to do is to present what you've learned in such a way that someone else can understand it. I do hope this helps you as I've taken you through this walk through the wiki and tried to show you how it can be useful to you. And then we also, this is, I think there's just some good things in here. But if you have further questions, don't hesitate to email me either in D2L or on stevensd@pdx.edu. I know this is a little long, but I hope it's helpful.